This video is about crowd simulation. So now what is crowd simulation? Crowd simulation is when you want to add crowd in your scene. For example, cricket stadium. So in cricket stadium, we see crowd, we see audience. So for that, we cannot add animation to thousands of characters. So we repeat our animations. We take some set of animations and we repeat it. So now we are going to see how we can do that in Maya. So I will go to file and I will import my FBX animated character. So for this I am using zombie running. So now here I have my animated character. So now if I play, this is 18 frames long, this animation. So I cannot use this FBX format for my crowd simulation as FBX format is very heavy and I have to add a lots of character in my scene as crowd includes a lots of characters. So for that we'll click on our FBX file, this animated file zombie for me, and I will go to catch an alembic catch and I will export selection to alembic. So when you click on this dialog box will open. So now here you have to go down and in advanced option you have to check UV write and write UV sets. So I have already done this, so you just have to rename your file and just hit export. So I have already done this, so I won't do that again. So I will delete my FBX file now. I don't want this anymore. So now again go to file, import your ABC file. Now you have to import your ABC file, alembic file. So now once you import your alembic file, you have to go to alembic node. Then here you have to keep the cycle type as loop. So now if you have more than one character, I will add this file once again so that I can show you. So now I have two characters over here. So if I go to my alembic node, I will keep the cycle type to loop. So now what is loop is this animation is of 18 frames only. So I want this to loop in my 50 frames. So if I keep this on loop, it will repeat the same animation till wherever I want. So now if I keep this on hold, you can see this animation character is running, but this is like stopping after 17th frame. So now this is why we keep this on cycle type loop. So now is both characters are in same animations, so it is looking somewhat awkward when we do this in crowd. So for that what we can do is we'll go to offset over here and I will keep this as 100. So now the starting point of the animation has changed. So now I will keep this as 20, so you can see the starting point of my character has changed. Here hand is little bit back and here it is little bit front. So I will change the speed as well so that it will look like one character is more speed and one character is in a normal speed. So I will just increase this as 0.3 with increase this by 0.3. So now you can see this character is little bit faster than this one. So now this is done. We will set a plane so that we can create our mesh file. So what is that? I will tell you in a bit. So now I will create this plane. So I will do this with only one character for this video. So I will create this plane and I want only one face. These many faces are not required. So I will just go to polyplane 1 and I will width I will keep 1, height I will keep 1. So now by selecting this plane 1, I will go to mesh and I will go to create mesh network, mesh options. I keep the geometry type as mesh and distribution type as grid. So this will distribute in this grid. That's why we are keeping the type as grid. Apply and close. Now we get one new file, two new files, mesh1 and mesh1 repro mesh. I will add a material to this. Any material you can add. So I have selected standard surface. I will just rename this as mesh red, and I will select the color red, and now this is done. So now we have to go out to our mesh file, and we will create a transform. Left click on this, then add a transform node. Now go to distribute, mesh distribute. So now I want this to distribute. I will keep this distance as 1000, distance x, and distance phi as 1000 as well. So now you can see I have more boxes over here, more repro mesh boxes. So this is only one, but we have multiple boxes. So now if you want to increase that, you can just go to grid X and you can increase the amount. But as you can see, if I go to more than 5, it is starting to intersect. So what you can do is you can go to distance X and you can increase this amount as well. So for this I will keep 1000 and my grid as 5, grid X as 5, and grid Z as 5 as well. So this is enough. So now if you have a plane and that plane is somewhat uneven, so you want this repro mesh to come properly on your plane. So what we can do is we can select repro mesh and our plane, then we can go to deform and we'll do shrink wrap. So now what will happen is if you have some bumps over here, this your repro mesh will come on top of that. So now I won't add any bumps. So just after this you have to go to your repro mesh and just check if everything is aligning with your plane, and now just click on your main character. Now we will create a mesh network for this. So we click over here, mesh, then mesh network. Then I will keep this as instancer and I will keep the distribution type to linear. Apply and close. So now as you can see, we have more characters in our scene. So now these characters, we can go to number of points, we can increase, and we will go to our mesh 1 and distribute, and here we will keep the distribution type as grid. Mesh 2 will go, we'll keep the distribution type in distribution as mesh. Now we have to give an input mesh over here, so we will keep this repro mesh and we will add, drag and drop this in our input mesh. So if you see, if I click over here, this repro mesh settings are opening up. If repro mesh attributes are opening up, so I will click on my mesh 2 and just with middle mouse button I will click on this and I will drag it to my input mesh. So now as you can see, these my characters have distributed among my repro mesh. So now if I play my animation, you can see so now in distribution, if I want these characters in more amount, I can just increase the number of points. So now this is done. So now if I go to my mesh 1, repro mesh, mesh 1, mesh 1 repro mesh. So in mesh 1 if I go and I want to animate this thing, I want my characters to run from here till here. So I can go to transform, and we have added this transform. I will go to control null, and I will right click on this and I will hit create. So now you can see we have a transform over here. So now if I drag this, you can see my characters are dragging along with my cursor. So now just I will go to my timeline. I will hit S on my keyboard to add a keyframe, and I will go till maybe 200 frames, and here I will add one key and I will drag this. So now if I play this, you can see my characters are running towards me. So this is how you can animate your crowd. So this is how you do crowd simulation in Maya. So once again, if you see, this crowd is running towards me. So this is how you do crowd simulation.